To order at 6:45. Consideration of claims. Chair would entertain a motion for the approval of the claims.
Your Honor, I'd like to make a motion for the consideration of claims to be paid in the amount of $363,574.71. Manual checks in the amount of $25,291.43. Payroll and liabilities for June 16th, 23 to June 30th, 23 in the amount of $763,381.13 for a total of $1,152,247.27.
Second.
Thank you. Are there any amendments or discussion on the claims? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion passed. Is there anything additional that the committee needs to review or to discuss?
Your Honor, I have nothing further.
Thank you. In that case, we will adjourn at 6:46.
I call the July 5th, 2023 regular meeting of the Riverton City Council to order at 7 p.m. Would Councilmember Borders lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance, and then Councilmember Bailey give us the invocation.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Our dearest Heavenly Father, thank you for the many blessings that we enjoy, especially the ability to live here in this wonderful city of Riverton and the state of Wyoming. Please bless us in all that we do tonight for the city of Riverton, that we will make good decisions that benefit all the citizens of the city of Riverton. Please keep all of the employees and police and emergency responders and firefighters all safe as they go about protecting us and keeping us safe. We ask you to please bless all of us this evening, and we will be safe as we go home. And we ask these things in the name of Jesus Christ. Amen.
Amen.
All right. Thank you, Councilman Bailey and Councilwoman Borders. All right, would the Administrative Services Director please conduct the roll call?
Yes, Your Honor. Councilwoman Carla Borders.
Here?
Councilwoman Lindsay Cox.
Here.
Councilman Mike Bailey.
Here?
Councilman Dean Peranto. Councilman Kyle Larson. Here. Councilman Christy Salisbury.
Here.
And Mayor Tim Hancock.
I'm here. I would entertain a motion to excuse Councilman Peranto from tonight's meeting.
So moved. Second.
Motion by Councilman Larson, second by Councilman Bailey. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
I vote aye. Any opposed, say nay. Motion passes. I declare we have a quorum. The chair would entertain a motion for the approval of the agenda with the addition of an open container permit to the consent agenda.
So moved.
Second.
Councilwoman Cox with the motion, Councilwoman Borders with the second. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
I vote aye. Any opposed, say nay. Motion passes. Communication from the floor. Anyone in the audience that wishes to address the council on an item that already is scheduled for a public hearing, you'll have an opportunity to speak then. If you have another item you'd like to speak on, you're welcome to come up, and if you could come up to the microphone, tell us your name, and if you're associated with an organization, the organization you're associated with. If you're a group, I'd ask you to keep your comments to about 10 minutes, and if you're an individual, to about 5.
Hi, I'm Danny Santine. I'm with the Riverton FFA and Burma Night Riders 4-H Club. Say your name.
I'm Lily Weber, and I'm with the Burma Night Riders and 4-H Club and FFA.
Great.
Hi, I'm Sailor Anderson, and I'm with the Burma Night Riders 4-H Club.
Hi, I'm Caitlin Long. I'm with the Burma Night Riders 4-H Club and Riverton FFA. So we're here to request permission to put 4-H and FFA flags up through Maine and Federal throughout 4-H Week, which is July 28th through August 7th. We like to put these up. We've done it last year was our first year during 4-H Week with both flags, and that's what I meant. Fair. We do it during 4-H Week and FFA Week too. But we do it to kind of help promote all of our members and just like fair as a whole so that maybe we can get more people interested in joining or just people to get to come.
Great. Well, thanks for coming. This is becoming a popular thing, so I don't know if we should start keeping a calendar of people we've agreed to let put up flags. Do we have any other competing flags that we've agreed to put up at that time?
No, Your Honor.
Okay, great. Anybody on the council that would have an issue with that? I think you're good to go.
Okay,
Thank you. Thanks for coming in, and you guys appreciate all you do. Keep up the good work.
Thank you.
I wished I'd been that posed when I was that age. I'm still working on it, so anyway. Ron Warpness, citizen. And Mayor Hancock, council and staff. I just want to visit for a minute. I have a question for you. What's the fundamental purpose of and the reason that government is formed? Okay, this is a rhetorical question, as each of us may have a different idea. In my humble opinion, government is formed to protect the young and weak and to try to meet all citizens' needs. The strong, both physically and financially, will be able to pretty much take care of themselves and don't need the protection as much. Government is also formed to provide a base so that the individual, the family, the group, the tribe, or the government can grow and prosper so it can provide this protection. At its very basic purpose, however, it comes back to protecting the young and the weak. With that thought in mind, I would like to encourage the council to reconsider its position on allowing fireworks throughout the city. We have for many years had fireworks west of town near the old Valley View Cafe. We have also had many displays east of town at the ball fields on Smith Road. These two areas have been more than adequate, and so we really have no need to have fireworks all over town except to satisfy personal indulgence. I can tell you we have many citizens that would prefer that this not happen and causes them much apprehension and disquiet. We have many veterans with PTSD, as well as many seniors that are upset with all the noise, not to mention the trash it leaves. Many have pets and animals that have a very hard time with the loud sounds, and it's good that time limits have been placed on shooting them off, if only those limits were enforced. But in my neighborhood, they are not. All in all, I personally enjoy fireworks, but not at the expense of the feelings it causes with so many of our citizens and their pets. It is just not necessary, except that the governing body have chosen to be indifferent to our young and weak and have responded to the more vocal side of our community. So that's my feeling on that. We had this discussion when Mayor Gard was here, and it was a lot more people who were speaking that way. But I can tell you last night near my home, and they're beautiful fireworks. I love them. I went up to my building up at the airport, and coming back off the Griffey Hill where there was cars parked on both sides of the road, watching the fireworks across the community. And there was a lot of them. There's no question about it. It's a price that's having to be paid by a lot of people. And that's all I'm asking. I have a little pup, and she is now having a nervous breakdown, I think, over the noise. And it's hard on, I would also like to take a moment to thank Councilman Borders for coming to the meeting on the 12th. That was a difficult meeting when we had 60-some citizens here discussing a difficult issue. And I applaud you for having that meeting. And Councilman Borders, thank you for showing up. I really do appreciate that.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Good job. Hey.
Thank you very much.
You're on it.
Yes?
Mayor Warpness.
Yes.
You know, I agree with you on your statement. Only the part about it causes problems with animals. I have a very real large dog, and he doesn't like it. He barks and gets mad. But at this point in time, some things are more important than my dog barking. I see there was a group of people down on 5th Street right across from the church. And they were a group of people, in fact, that whole block was there enjoying firecrackers, and they were blowing them off far sooner than our regulations show. Then there was a street up above the Holiday Inn. They closed the whole street off, and they were enjoying the festivities, and it was raining. Now, in the past, we have had the fire department say, And county-wide, we've had no fireworks several years ago when we had a drought here. And we are trying to form a community and focus as a community and do things together as a community. In government, I don't know if we've got a spare $25,000 to have a community fireworks at one of the baseball fields. But we can certainly allow citizens the freedom of blowing firecrackers off, supervised by adults, because I haven't seen little kids. I've seen people my age and older doing it. They're your age, and I'm proposing, I would like to propose, instead of having just on the 4th and the 30th or 31st, that we open it up like the DOT does on the transportation. When they see a speed limit that is being pursued at 70 and it's safe, they raise the speed limit to 70. So if we've got firecrackers being blown off throughout the little part of July, what's the harm in it? When I was youngly married, I bought firecrackers, a box of them, in Jackson Hole, Wyoming. And I took them to Utah where, holy cow, oh, terrible place. And Wyoming is an open cowboy state. And making noise is one of those things. And if you've got a dog, most of the dogs in Utah were trained on shotgun shells because they were hunting dogs and they loved it. But I just can't agree with you that it's bad. I realize we have veterans with PTSD. I realize we have people that are, but we've got that on everything that you ever want to have. We've got people that are colorblind. We've got people that are deaf. We've got people that are blind. And everybody has a disability, but there's several things that brings the community together. And the 4th of July, firecrackers are one of them. Thank you.
Okay.
Your Honor, can I just say one thing too?
Sure.
I usually walk around town and drive around town, and I had so many people stop me and say, are you guys going to let us do fireworks? Our grandkids are coming from all over, and they're so excited, and I just want to make sure that they're coming. In my street, they did a great job of blowing around, but my daughter and I drove around all over town last night. And we drove in the rain, and we went and looked at them all, and then at 11 o'clock, we drove around, and we didn't see any fireworks going off because I'm like, everybody stopped when they were supposed to. I'm sure there were a few, but there weren't very many because I was out driving around to check it out, so if people came and told me that. But it was so much fun to see so many people, because I drove around every neighborhood you could think of for a long time, looking at them, playing music, stopping, and saw more excitement on the 4th of July. Riverton used to be dead on the 4th of July, and everybody went to Landers, so it was fun to see everybody. And I understand my mom's dogs and stuff, she has to deal with it on the 4th of July, but they are dogs, and people were having a lot of fun. So I appreciate your comments, but I didn't have one person stop me and say, don't do them. I mean, they were all asking, are you going to let us? Are you guys? And I said, it's set unless we don't do it. So, I mean, families were really excited about it.
I don't disagree that it's very popular. I don't disagree with that at all. In my statement here, I say I would encourage the council to reconsider its position. Now, if you want to bring this back up, put an agenda item on, have the community come in and have that discussion again, then we can debate the pros and cons on each side of it. But at this point in time, I think I've expressed as concisely as I could my concern in talking with Charlie Wilson, who's with the mental health building down there, and the number of veterans that they have that have to deal with it is another issue. But, so, thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Warpness. I appreciate it. All right. Nobody else? We'll move on then. Would the Administrative Services Director please read the consent agenda items by title only?
Yes, Your Honor. Approval of the minutes, June 20th, 2023, regular council meeting. Approval of the minutes, June 20th, 2023, executive session. Approval of the minutes, June 30th, 2023, special council meeting. Approval of the municipal court report for the month of June 2023. Approval of the minutes, July 5th, 2023, finance committee meeting. Approval of the finance committee recommendations, July 5th, 2023. Open container permit application, 381 Subs and Salads Car Show at 702 East Main, July 14th, 2023, from 3 p.m. to 11 p.m. And open container permit application for Bar 10 Car Show at Bar 10, July 14th, 2023, 4 p.m. to 1 a.m.
And that was the amended edition.
You're right, correct.
Thank you. Are there any other items requiring further discussion?
Your Honor,
Yes, ma'am.
the Finance Committee met earlier prior to this meeting, and agreed to consideration of claims to be paid in the amount of $363,574.71, manual checks in the amount of $25,291.43, payroll and liabilities for 6/16/23 and 6/30/23 in the amount of $763,381.13, for a total of $1,152,247.27.
I'd entertain a motion to approve the consent agenda as presented.
So moved.
Second.
Councilman Bailey with the motion, Councilman Larson with the second. Any discussion or other amendments? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, say nay. I vote aye. Motion passes. Introduction and oath of office, Administrative Services Director, City Administrator's report, please.
Thank you, Your Honor. I'm really pleased that we have Miss Mia Harris stepping into the position of Administrative Services Director to serve as our city clerk and our city treasurer. I've known Mia for my whole professional time here at the City of Riverton, and I can't speak highly enough about her. So getting her official tonight is something I'm looking forward to, and Your Honor, I'll turn the time to you to swear in Miss Harris.
All right, well, let's just meet down here at the podium. And my pen ran out of ink. Can I borrow yours? Oh, thank you, Mr. Bailey. Sometimes have two of these. We'll just have to use the same one. And raise your right hand. I,
I,
say your name,
Mia Harris,
do solemnly swear or affirm
do solemnly swear or affirm
that I will support, obey, and defend
that I will support, obey, and defend
the Constitution of the United States
the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of Wyoming,
and the Constitution of the State of Wyoming,
that I have not knowingly violated
that I have not knowingly violated
any law related to my appointment
any law related to my appointment
or caused it to be done by others,
or caused it to be done by others,
and that I will discharge the duties of my office with fidelity.
and I will discharge the duties of my office with fidelity.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Oh, you've got it. Yeah, use yours. Your signature looks so much nicer. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Appreciate you being willing to serve.
Appreciate it.
I guess we'll kind of have you shake everybody's hand. Might as well. I know you do it a lot.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You deserve it.
Congrats.
Kind of like last meeting, the first meeting that you actually called the role as the city clerk, right? This is the first one that you, as the sworn-in Administrative Services Director, get to shake everybody's hand. All right. Thank you very much, and welcome aboard, and thank you so much for being willing to serve, and really appreciate you taking on those additional responsibilities and You've been doing great so far, and we really appreciate you. So,
Thank you.
the good work.
Appreciate that.
All right, public hearing and consideration, fireworks permit application for the Riverton Rendezvous Committee, July 5th, 2023. Administrative Services Director's report, please.
Thank you, Mayor. Included in your packet this evening is an application for a fireworks permit for the Riverton Rendezvous Committee. They plan to have a live music and fireworks show at the Hot Air Balloon Glow at the CWC Soccer Fields and JC Park on July 15th, 2023. These events will run from 6:30 a.m. to 10:45 p.m. And I would stand for any questions that you may have.
Thank you. Chair would entertain a motion to open the public hearing.
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Councilwoman Borders, second by Councilman Bailey. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
I vote aye. Any opposed, say nay. Motion passes. I declare the public hearing open. Hearings conducted in accordance with state statutes, other applicable laws. I'd ask if you would like to speak, that you would come to the podium, identify for yourself for the record. Anybody who wants to speak?
Mr. Mayor, Council, I am Christopher Hauser. I am the Vice President of the Riverton Rendezvous Committee. I am representing our committee here tonight. The fireworks show has been part of our rally for as long as I can remember and been a part of it. Also, on behalf of the committee, we just got our pins in, and we would like to present the council members and the mayor with pins tonight.
Great.
Hot dog.
You?
Thank you.
I don't have a
Thanks, sir.
lately.
Thank you.
Let's go back and turn again.
Thank you.
Gotcha, thank you. Thank you. Oh, that's a cool one.
Just so happens I have a lapel to put it on right now. Just have to take off the bucking horse and ride it.
Yeah.
Thank you, Mr. Hauser.
Thank you.
Did you have anything else to say about the fireworks, or?
I do not.
Thank you.
Thank
This
you.
is very thorough, I noticed, by the way, so.
Thank you.
All right. Anybody else who wants to speak? I'd entertain a motion to close the public hearing.
So moved.
Second?
Motion by Councilman Larson, second by Councilwoman Borders. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay. I vote aye. Motion passes. I declare the public hearing closed. Chair would entertain a motion to approve the fireworks permit for Riverton Rendezvous Committee on July 15th, 2023.
So moved.
Second?
Councilwoman Cox with the motion, Councilwoman Borders with the second. Discussion or amendments? Okay. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
I vote aye. Any opposed, say nay. Motion passes. All right, consideration of ordinance number 23006, third reading, underage purchase, use, or possession of tobacco. Mr. Butterfield.
Thank you, Your Honor. I'll be brief, as this has been presented to you on two different occasions. I'll just note that it passed unanimously on first reading on June 6th, and again unanimously on second reading on June 20th. This does increase the age from 18 to 21 and allows us to be more consistent with state and federal laws. Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you, sir. Administrative Services Director, if you could please read ordinance number 23006 by title only.
Thank you, Your Honor. An ordinance amending Title IX, Public Peace, Morals, and Welfare to revise Chapter 9.16, Offenses by or Against Minors, Section 09.16.030, Purchase, Use, or Possession of Tobacco by Minors Prohibited of the Riverton Municipal Code, and repealing all ordinances or parts of ordinance in conflict therewith, and providing for an effective date.
Thank you very much. Chair would entertain a motion to adopt ordinance number 23006 on third reading.
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Councilwoman Borders, second by Councilwoman Salisbury. Any discussion, amendments? Okay. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
No, third reading.
Oh, yeah, you are correct.
Oh.
Yeah, that's not on my script, but luckily we have Mr. Bailey here. If the Administrative Services Director could please conduct a roll call vote.
Yes, Your Honor. Councilwoman Carla Borders.
Aye.
Councilwoman Lindsay Cox.
Aye.
Councilman Mike Bailey.
Aye.
Councilman Kyle Larson.
Yes.
Councilman Christy Salisbury.
Aye.
And Mayor Tim Hancock.
I vote aye. Motion passes. consideration of ordinance number 23007, second reading, clerk and treasurer. Mr. Butterfield again.
Thank you, Your Honor. The proposed ordinance before you changes the verbiage in city code as it relates to city clerk, and it also changes verbiage for chapter 213 finance director and amends it to city treasurer. As explained in the packet, the city of Riverton has made reference to the positions of city clerk and city treasurer in many very different ways throughout the years. Both of these positions are required by state statute. And what this does is it clarifies in our ordinance the duties and responsibilities associated with city clerk and treasurer. And again, this did come before the council and was unanimously passed on June 20th.
Thank you. Administrative Services Director, if you could please read ordinance 23007 by title only.
Yes, Your Honor. An ordinance amending Title II, Administration and Personnel, to revise Chapter 2.12, City Clerk, and Chapter 2.13, Finance Director of the Riverton Municipal Code, and repealing all ordinances or parts of ordinances in conflict therewith, and providing for an effective date.
Thank you. Chair would entertain a motion to adopt ordinance 23007 on second reading.
So moved.
Second.
Councilman Bailey with the motion, second with Councilwoman Cox. Any discussion or amendments? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
I vote aye. All opposed say nay. Motion passes. Public hearing and in consideration of ordinance 23008, first reading, Riverview Cove subdivision rezone. Mr. Miller, please.
Yes, Your Honor, Council. Riverview Cove was annexed into the city of Riverton in March of 2022. It is a subdivision of 5 lots. 4 of those lots are currently zoned residential R1, and 1 lot is currently zoned commercial district C1. The 4 lots that are currently zoned R1 were never intended to be R1. In discussions, plat, and annexation paperwork, those 4 lots were intended to be zoned residential R2A. The plat, when we presented the plat, is recorded at the county level as R2A, and all of our intercouncil documentation was R2A. For one reason or another, there was a clerical error when we signed that ordinance and recorded that ordinance, in which those lots were listed as R1 in that ordinance. Ordinance 23-008 is a correction to rectify that situation. There were a couple of options that we had when we looked at presenting this on how to fix an error like that, and we chose to go the full rezone method, where all documentation and paperwork was backed up and corrected, and then followed through with council, so the public and the council had full clarity as to what was being done with that. This is currently being petitioned by the city of Riverton itself to rezone the 4 residential lots from R1 to R2A. Residential notifications by letter and posted signage have been done, and with no written responses opposing the rezone have been received by the public. The city planning commission recommended approval on June 22nd, 2023, and there's no current budget impact at this time.
Thank you, Mr. Miller. Would the Administrative Services Director please read ordinance number 23008 by title only?
Yes, Your Honor. An ordinance amending the zoning district map of the city of Riverton, Wyoming, designating the rezone of Riverview Cove subdivision lots 1, 2, 3, and 4, city of Riverton, Fremont County, Wyoming, from residential district R1 to residential district R2A.
Thank you. I would entertain a motion to open the public hearing.
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Councilman Bailey, second by Councilwoman Borders. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
I vote aye. All opposed, say nay. Motion passes. I declare the public hearing open. Hearing will be conducted in accordance with state statutes, other applicable laws. I'd ask if you want to speak, come to the podium, identify yourself for the record.
My name is Cease Postma. I live on the north end of Broadway, and I'm wondering what's the difference between R1 and R2?
That is a great question that I think Mr. Miller could help with.
Yes, Your Honor, Counsel. Residential R1, so in the city of Riverton, there are 3 residential zones and a subzone. So R1 is residential 1, meaning that it's a small residential lot that has an allowable housing of 1 family unit, which in our residential zone inside the city of Riverton, that comprises less than 15% of our current residential zones is R1, very small, small lots on the, if we look at this map here is the north section right here, and Woodbridge Estates is R1 as well. R2 in the city of Riverton is all rules that fall under R1, and it also includes the ability for churches and schools to be on that property, and it also includes the ability of up to 2 family units or a duplex style housing on that property. R2A, as it's talked about in this concept here, is the same as R2. The A stands for agriculture, so it has an agricultural stem on it, which is for our larger, more rural style lots where they can have a horse or a couple of small livestock animals.
Can I ask why this is zoning designation office and industrial district CO? That's what this originally was, just
The rezone documentation that you have in your hand right there is for the Presbyterian Church property off of North Broadway, and that rezone meeting starts tomorrow night with Planning Commission at 5:30.
That's tomorrow night, not tonight?
It'll be tomorrow night at 5:30, and we'll discuss that rezone there, and most certainly answer any questions that you have there at that time, and that will also be presented to council a couple weeks after.
Lost the date and time.
It's all right.
It's
I appreciate you.
absolutely fine. I'm free to answer any questions that you have about that away
It's
from.
like it's not like a high-rise apartment with 5 stories or 150 families in it or something like that.
No, absolutely not. Yeah, I can.
Some of those, I know they did that out there where my dad lives, and it's residential, and now there's apartment buildings on the end and 100 kids inside, and so I'm far away from the police department.
So if you, when he was talking about the planning commission meeting, and then nobody had any objection to this zoning,
Okay.
that meeting is actually tomorrow night at 5:30 here. And you can go to that meeting, and that's a public meeting. There will be a public hearing, and you can express any concerns you have then.
Okay.
And after that meeting, if it does come before the council, there will be another meeting that the council will consider it, like this one with this rezone.
Okay.
So there's opportunities. Yeah, and then we'll have 3 readings too. So it's not an easy process by design.
Oh, I wasn't even sure. I didn't understand a lot of the stuff, so, I mean, there's several neighbors who come around, have you got to go to this? I'm like, okay, I'll be there, and they looked around, nobody was there.
And I had a few reach out to me, and I directed them to the meeting tomorrow.
Yeah, all right, I'll be here tomorrow night.
So feel free to pass it along. That's fine, and we'd love to have you there.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Is there anyone that would like to speak as to the rezone for the Riverview Cove subdivision?
Your Honor, do I count?
You count. I mean, do we want to wait until the public hearing is closed?
I think.
Yeah, that's.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Seeing none, Your Honor, I would move we close the public hearing.
Second.
Councilman Bailey with the motion, Councilwoman Cox with the second. Close the public hearing. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, say nay. Motion passes. I declare the public hearing closed. Chair would entertain a motion to adopt ordinance 23008 on first reading.
So moved.
Second.
Councilman Bailey with the motion, second by Councilwoman Borders. Discussion. Mr. Larson.
So R2A is different from 1R by size of.
It's different by, so R2A has a different designation from R1 as by the amount of family living units available. R1 is 1, R2 is 2. So you can have a duplex on an R2 lot, and you can have a single family, or you can have a single family house on there. You can absolutely have just one. And about 85% of the residential property inside the city of Riverton is R2 zoned, R2 or R2A. By looking at the map up here, everything that's green and yellow is residential, and that's about 85% of the city's lots are R2 or R2A.
So R2A can have a duplex with a horse?
Yes.
Or goats, or chickens?
Correct. Chickens are
13 of them.
Yeah, chickens are separately slightly different than
Well, it's
regular livestock.
agricultural.
Yeah, but there's other lots in town that are allowed to have chickens as well, but livestock is considered to be larger livestock, goats, horses, cows, and there's one head per acre allowable.
Not pigs.
No pigs?
That sounds
pigs.
discriminatory to me, but.
It is, by design.
There is a list of all of the animals that are considered livestock by the city of Riverton in the Riverton Municipal Code. Sheep is one of them. Llamas and alpacas are not.
Or pigs.
Or pigs, correct. There's specific discretion for pigs. They have a tendency to have a odor level slightly higher than most other animals.
Yes.
Only when it's a wet material. If it's dry, they don't have that odor.
It's good to know.
Yeah.
And I think part of the point with this is, this was something that was envisioned anyway. I mean, that was part of the whole plan.
100%. Any lot that we have in the city that's multiple sized acres on the outskirts of town is 100% intended to be R2A, giving the individual the ability to do what they so wish with their land. It's hard to envision a 6 or 7 or 8 acre lot in the state of Wyoming without the ability to put a horse on it. It just doesn't necessarily work out with our community standards.
But the point with chickens, I guess, to clarify for the viewing public, is that chickens are allowed in all residential lots, subject to some limitations.
Correct, subject to some limitations. There are rules that fall behind chickens. If anybody would like to learn up on how they can raise some chickens in town, they can come and talk to me in my office anytime.
Sounds good. I'm glad that you have offered that. We have some budding poultry farmers out there, I'm sure.
Absolutely.
All right, any other discussion? We ready to vote? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
I vote aye. Any opposed, say nay. Motion passes. Contract approval, airport master plan. Mr. Butterfield, tell us about this item, please.
Thank you, Your Honor. We've gone through several of the steps associated with the master planning process, so I'll be very brief. The consultant was selected. You directed staff to negotiate a fee and a scope of work. You also approved the application of grants to support this project. I'm happy to report the grants were awarded just last week on June 28th, and we've had that scope of work and fee finalized for some time. It was approved by both the FAA and YDOT. And at this point, we just need to execute it with your approval. The total amount for the master planning project is $530,974. Of local funds required to that total is $13,275. The federal funds cover $497,788. State funds cover $19,911. Included in your packet is that contract and the specific scope of work and the time frame necessary to accomplish this study, and you'll see that our anticipated completion date will be in December of '24. Thank you, Your Honor, and I'll stand for any questions.
Thank you, Mr. Butterfield. Chair would entertain a motion to approve a consultant agreement between the City of Riverton and J-Aviation, a Wolpert company, for the airport master plan.
So moved.
Go ahead, yeah. I'll second.
We'll say the motion is there from Councilman Larson and the second by Councilman Bailey. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
I vote aye. Any opposed, say nay. Motion passes. It'll be good to get that moving along. Thank you for your hard work on that, Mr. Butterfield. All right, EDGE funding agreements, Brown Sugar, Golden Buffalo, Riverton Ice Hockey, Wild Mushroom. Administrative Services Director's report, please.
Thank you, Your Honor. Resolution number 1422 was adopted in September of 2020, which established the EDGE Committee, Evolve, Diversify, and Grow Our Economy, to advise the mayor and council on the use of the revenues generated by the 0.5% optional excise tax. The committee serves to represent economic development priorities for the community, solicit project proposals, and recommend funding approvals. The City Council considered recommendations from EDGE for applications received between March 1st, 2023 and March 31st, 2023. As recorded in the meeting minutes, the council unanimously approved a motion to direct staff to prepare funding agreements for approval based on the recommendations of the EDGE Committee. The recommended recipients for funding are included as Brown Sugar Coffee Roastery for $196,000, High Country Fungus LLC for $30,380, Riverton Ice Hockey Association for $25,174, and the Golden Buffalo for $26,500, for a total of $278,054 in funding. The staff prepared the attached agreements for council consideration, and each agreement details the approved purpose for which the applicant requested the funds. They also included the following general provisions in each application. The city and recipient agree funds associated with the agreement will be used in a manner that will increase or retain jobs and/or result in a net gain of money into the community. The recipient also agrees that it shall only use the funds for the purchase of equipment, inventory, and expansion of its facilities. No funds shall be used for general operations. For the purpose of this agreement, general operations are defined as payroll taxes, insurance, and accounts payable. The recipient shall also provide the city a report of the number of employees at the time of funding for 3 years after the receipt of funds. They also shall report to the city local suppliers from whom inventory or equipment is purchased with the provided economic development funding when requested by the city. The recipient acknowledges and agrees that the funds paid by the city pursuant to the agreement shall be subject to recovery by the city if the recipient fails to meet the standards and requirements set forth in the agreement at the sole discretion of the city and to the extent determined appropriate by the city up to the total amount provided by the city through the agreement. And finally, the recipient agrees that awarded economic development funds should be expeditiously spent in a manner consistent with the terms and conditions of this agreement and should not utilize funds awarded them within 18 months of receipt. Unexpended funds shall be immediately payable to the city. The city may choose whether or not to enter into the proposed draft agreements or recommend changes to their terms and conditions. The agreements represent the allocation of $278,054 from the Economic Development Fund, and the fund is accounted completely separate from all of the city's general or enterprise funds, and there are sufficient funds in the account to meet the above reference obligation. And with this information, the staff would stand for any questions you may have.
Thank you. The chair would entertain a motion to approve an agreement for use of economic development tax funds between the City of Riverton and Brown Sugar, Inc.
So moved.
Second.
Go ahead.
We'll call that Councilwoman Cox. So motion by Councilwoman Borders, second by Councilwoman Cox. Discussion. We have to do these one at a time, so we'll be quick. And I'm sorry, Ms. Harris, I hate doing this. I should have told you about it earlier, but I forgot to. Each of these have a typo in around paragraph 9 that says High Country Fungus for brown sugar, and so there's just a reference to High Country Fungus they all have.
Agrees to submit to the city of Riverton detailing.
Your Honor, we will get those corrected in the final contract agreements.
Thank you. Is everybody okay with that, I guess? Just noting for the motion that with the slight correction. All right, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
I vote aye. Any opposed, say nay. Motion passes. I'd entertain a motion to approve the agreement for use of economic development funds between the City of Riverton and JLKR, Inc.
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Councilwoman Cox, second by Councilman Bailey. Discussion? This is the Golden Buffalo one. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, say nay. Motion passes. I'd entertain a motion to approve an agreement for use of economic development tax funds between Riverton and High Country Fungus LLC.
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Councilman Bailey, second by Councilwoman Borders. Discussion on this one. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay. I vote aye. Motion passes. Chair would entertain a motion to approve an agreement for use of economic development tax funds between the City of Riverton and Riverton Ice Hockey Association, RIHA.
So moved.
Second.
Councilwoman Cox with the motion, second by Councilman Bailey. Discussion on this one. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
I vote aye. Opposed, say nay. Great. Thank you. Those looked good. I went through them, and I think one of the things we discussed when these were approved was wanting to make sure that we wanted to be sure that the money is being used as we've indicated. And I think the whole purpose of these agreements is to do that, and I appreciate you taking that feedback and making sure that that's what we had in there. You've done really good work with the EDGE Committee, and I appreciate it, Ms. Harris.
Thank you.
All right. Bid award, dump truck with plow and attachments. Mr. Eggleston, tell us about this.
Thank you, Your Honor and Council. As a part of the budget, we requested 2 new dump truck sander plow combination for the Public Works Department streets and alleys. The budget that was just approved authorized the expenditure up to $484,000 budgeted money to acquire those vehicles. In honor of Mr. Tolstead, who's no longer here, we chose to follow our routine with the piggyback purchase, which is also the governmental entities cooperative purchasing clause. By this, we looked at each awarded bid through the Wyoming Department of Transportation to secure each of the items that are needed to procure these vehicles and put them into service. YDOT went out to bid in October of '22 for 27 trucks and associated equipment. The bid awards through YDOT had Floyd's Truck Center for the chassis and snowplow. The chassis total price was $268,278. Total price for snowplows was $44,192. CMI TECO was awarded the sander spreaders for a total of $44,452. Ameritech received the award for the dump bodies for a total amount of $35,754. And Force America, which provides the hydraulics for snowplows, dump trucks, all kinds of different vehicles, was awarded the total price of $73,562, bringing our total price for both trucks to $466,778. We would ask the council approve the purchase of these equipments using the piggyback or the government entities cooperative purchasing clause. And also to note that as far as the upfitting, there's $17,222 remaining of the budgeted amount to do the installs in-house, which is the plan. And I would stand for any question if you wish.
Thank you, sir. I'd entertain a motion to approve the purchase of 2 2025 Freightliner dump truck vehicles along with the dump body, snowplow, sander, and upfitting.
So moved.
Second.
Councilwoman Salisbury with the motion, Councilwoman Cox with the second. Discussion.
I would assume it's very minor, but the subject on our sheet says cooperative purchase of 1 new dump truck, and then in the body it says 2.
Yeah, we're actually buying 2.
Okay, so as long as we're clarifying, we're buying 2 of them for a total of $466,000.
You're saying you don't think that'd be a good deal for one for
A
that
lot
price?
for one.
think-
Or it's a really nice dump truck, one of the two, yeah.
Forgive me for the error.
Your Honor.
Yes, sir.
What would be the price if we had not used the piggyback approach?
I haven't got those figures in front of me. I just know that by purchasing with larger volumes, we get better discounts across the board.
Second question, does this have anything to do with the predicted coming winter?
2
Yeah.
vehicles that can be used to help with winter weather?
Yeah.
No, that has nothing to do with it.
Wasn't on my mind at all when we asked for it.
Okay.
I think correlation's not causation there.
Do we have a estimated delivery time for these?
If I get the awards in, we're not gonna have them for this winter anyway.
So we're talking a year out.
Yeah,
Okay.
if we're fortunate.
Better
these
late than
will
never.
We'll go into the January build cycle,
Okay.
if we're fortunate.
It's a good question. That was my question. And you wouldn't really know what the price would be necessarily without the piggyback, because we didn't put it out to bid without the piggyback.
That's
So
correct.
we wouldn't, I mean, the way prices have been for vehicles too, it's hard to predict.
Yeah, but
Doesn't do us any good to look at the full retail. The full retail is much higher than that, but
oh, yeah.
we would never pay full retail, so it's hard to estimate without going to bid.
And then, is that 17,222, is that going to be enough for the upfitting and everything?
I suspect it will be as we do the labor in-house.
Okay. Okay.
It wouldn't be enough to do one of the trucks if we farmed it out.
Any other questions, discussion?
No, I think it's a great deal.
All right, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
I vote aye. All opposed, say nay. Motion passes. All right, Resolution 1476, designation of authorized signatories on bank accounts. Mr. Butterfield, if you could tell us about this one.
Thank you, Your Honor. This resolution basically officially removes Ms. Watson from our accounts, or as an authorized signer for our accounts, and replaces her with Ms. Mia Harris. Ms. Watson has already had her accounts disengaged. Would that be the term?
Deactivated?
Deactivated. I was going to say disenabled, but that didn't sound right. Disenabled. Ernie, I will expect that in quotations.
He's typing.
So once she departed, that access to the account was already severed. But by resolution, this does designate Ms. Harris to replace her as a signatory if I'm not able to sign the checks. And it's very similar to what we did at the first of the calendar year, where Mr. Bailey was selected to sign in the place of the mayor. The mayor was not able to. So that's a cleanup matter, and we'll stand for questions if you have them.
Thank you, sir. Would the city administrator, the Administrative Services Director, please read Resolution 1476 by title only.
Yes, Your Honor. A resolution designating specific individuals as signatories and alternate signatories on city accounts at said banks.
Thank you. Chair would entertain a motion to approve Resolution 1476.
So moved.
Second.
Councilmember Borders with the motion, Councilwoman Cox with the second. Discussion. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, say nay. I vote aye, I should have said. Motion passes. Great. Thank you. All right, council committee reports, council members roundtable. I always want to think of a different order to go in besides just left to right or right to left, but let's just go right to left.
Okay,
Who
Your
could
Honor.
start us off? Councilwoman Borders?
I did have a pause meeting. They're busy planning the Paws and Pearls event, September 9th, so mark your calendars. I also wanted to mention the upcoming rendezvous activities that'll be going on, starting with the Friday night cruise, and we'll have lots of pretty balloons floating around. And for the first year, we're having a soapbox derby, which is exciting. I'm excited to see that go down High School Hill and see the kids whizzing down the hill. Should be fun. Day in the park. It's all happening in July, so I hope to see everybody out and about and enjoying themselves. And that's all I have.
Thank you. Councilwoman Cox?
I haven't attended any meetings since our last meeting. And although I'm no longer on the Riverton Little League, they have got me to volunteer for district tournament next week. So I will be down at the baseball fields the 11th through the 15th for districts. They're bringing 14 teams to town, so that'll be great for our city. And hopefully we have good weather for some baseball. That's it.
No rain?
Hopefully not.
Councilman Bailey?
You didn't rule out snow, but.
Wouldn't be the first time.
I went over South Pass this morning and it was 40 degrees, so
Wow.
it was chilly.
Beautiful
Kind of
weather.
got hot, so. So, again, thank you, Your Honor. Forest Committee was canceled for this month, so it's going to meet in August now. I think they've pretty much got all their projects in the works and going, and I think we're out fixing streets and getting stuff going, so. Again, very frugal group of individuals that are very careful with what they do. They've got Davis Lane in the middle of being repaired and lots of patch and repair stuff, so. Other than that, I apologize, I was out of town last week. I had to go out to California and do more grandpa duties, meet my new 6-month-old granddaughter, so that was great, other than being in California. But we survived, so thank you, that's all.
Thank you, sir. How exciting. Congratulations.
Yeah.
How fun. Councilman Larson.
The only meeting I'm going to attend, other than the solid waste on the third Monday, is tomorrow is an intertribal meeting between the Arapaho and Shoshone to get an agreement on solid waste. And so far, we have been able to move them nowhere. They've taken it under advisement since April, and my watch says it's July, and that's 3 months. It's an interesting stalemate. But we're offering them so much money to take the solid waste, manage it by themselves, and then bring it over to Lander, where they pay a tipping fee, and we get so much of the money back in the tipping fee. And very difficult to change the way they like to do things. That's all I have, Your Honor.
Thank you.
Oh, one other thing.
Oh, yes.
Most people did not suffer from the windstorm, but there were 90 individuals in the city of Riverton that had a gift on their front lawn or their backyard of lots of leaves and trees. I had a tree break in half and go through a front window.
Oh, man.
Your residence or one of the properties you own?
One of the properties. And I got a phone call on the way back from Lander where I buy my firecrackers because I can buy bigger, stronger, louder.
You're not allowed to do that being on the council.
I'm being very honest.
That's like room for impeachment.
Very honest. And I'm told that.
Because you can do without an explosive permit, right?
Yeah, I do. And have been certified pyromania. Anyway, and so the lady had just had that come down and she couldn't get out of her front door. So, and it had gone through the window. And so then with the chainsaw and 3 people, we were able to extricate her out of her house, not using the jaws of life. And this morning we cleaned it up with 2 huge truckloads. And during that period of time, the guy told me at the weigh-in that there had been 90 people through with just as much as I had. And I had 2 huge helping truckloads, pickup truckloads of broken limbs and leaves. So it was something. Now, just a sidebar, Yellowstone at Lake had so many acres of knocked down trees. So a microburst hit Yellowstone and knocked a bunch down. Just literally rerouted them. Yeah. So, anyway, welcome to Wyoming.
Yeah, yeah. I've had a lot of people ask me if we're spraying for mosquitoes, and I have said, yes, we are spraying for mosquitoes. But when it is windy or when it's raining, we don't spray for mosquitoes. So then they say, So you're not spraying for mosquitoes? And I say, well, that's one way to put it. It's been an interesting year. Councilwoman Salisbury.
So the chamber, I've been to a couple of meetings with the chamber and stuff. There's been some growing pains or different things with the Wind River Heritage Center. And one of the things when it switched over, it was kind of a new thing. And at first they'd put the whole chamber board on the Wind River Heritage Center board. And we've had several meetings back and forth. And so we changed it where the board's smaller for the Wind River Heritage Board. So fewer people can make quicker decisions, like getting the lawn mowed and all of that kind of stuff. And then James Bunker is the new chamber president. They're reviewing, the executive board's been reviewing executive director for the chamber applications. That process is still going on. And then we have a meeting tomorrow. But they've had more frequent meetings just to take care of a lot of business with all the ups and downs with it. So it's kind of exciting. It's getting to where it needs to be. And we also have had nominations to replace different board members. We're sad to see Jason in the audience, will not be on it right now. But did you want to come and speak of anything, or are you just coming to hang out tonight?
No, I just appreciate you guys' support with part 10 and our own container and coming down beside some time.
Well, we're going to miss Jason because he does a lot of work with the sugar beets and always volunteering. Sometimes he gets a bad rap because they're like, why is bartender always doing everything? It's because he does the work. And so we really appreciate that he does so much for the community.
Thank you.
And that's about it.
All right. Mr. Butterfield, what do you have to report on?
Thank you, Your Honor. I have a few items, and I hope you'll forgive the continued levity, but I cannot claim disenable as my word. Apparently, Merriam-Webster has already claimed it. I'm a little disappointed with that.
It's a little interesting because it's...
As young children, they like to make up names of words.
I thought I was making up words, but apparently it's already made up. Thank you for the levity. I do have a few items. It's already been mentioned that force will not be held this Monday. The Planning Commission, it's already been mentioned, but that will be tomorrow night at 5:30. We will be preparing the budget books for distribution soon, and I know Max has sent out an email and requested your preference, so please just get back to him if you want a physical copy or a digital copy, or both, and we'll be happy to accommodate that. The mayor and I were able to participate in a ribbon cutting with the Chamber of Commerce, or the Riverton Chamber and Visitor Center. And they will also be planning another ribbon cutting event this upcoming Monday at noon for the Itchy Bond Restaurant. So I wanted to make sure that each of you were aware of that. So again, that's Monday at noon. And I have two other items. I'm just always amazed at how our employees respond and serve the community and shoulder the respective responsibilities they have. Monday night, I was driving home, and in relationship to what Mr. Larson had mentioned, there were some tree branches that had fallen down on Adams. And as I was driving up Adams, one of our police officers, Sergeant Filer, had already pulled over and was being proactive in removing a lot of the limbs out of the traveling way. So that was a small example of, I think, the high level of service that we receive from our police officers and from our other city employees. They're always engaged, and I think going out of their way to just see a problem and solve a problem. So thank you to Sergeant Filer for doing that. A small effort, but I appreciated seeing that. The other thing I'd mention, this is in relationship to the Chamber of Commerce. I did receive a request as it relates to the Chamber, and what I'd like to do is get your consensus to either move forward or let it lie. If it's your consensus to move forward, I can start working on the details with some Chamber members and community members. But right now, there's a desire to place a digital sign within the boundaries of City of Riverton. That sign location has been proposed at a few locations. One was at the intersection of Federal and Main, but that has come with some additional issues that have made it not very possible. Another location is near the Visitor Center's new location at the Heritage Museum. But another potential location would be here at City Hall. From the information I have at this time, the sign would potentially be 10 feet tall, 16 feet wide, so it's a large sign. There's a potential that the chamber would use this sign for marketing opportunities. They would sell ad space on it, and then also allow chamber members to display information. And then there'd be a few other items that would relate to this digital sign. So again, before we get too deep into the details of whether or not we'd like to explore having a sign located at the City Hall parking lot, I'd love to get consensus from you if it's something you'd like to pursue, and then we can present details later. If it's not something you'd like to pursue, then we won't go through the effort of preparing all those details. And with that, Your Honor, I don't have anything else.
Thank you. Do we want to, anybody have any thoughts as to the sign?
Do you have an idea of where it would be located? I'm just trying to envision it in the parking lot or?
Your Honor, Councilwoman, ideally in the parking lot close to Federal, but I don't think that these community members have really got too far on those specifics yet.
So the Wind River Economic Development Fund people paid for part of it, and then the River Visitors Council paid for part of it. So I think the group that have been talking to him just want it to be a very visible site wherever it is. So I think we should move forward and then determine, it may not be on city, Wind River Visitors Council is not really that prominent a place to see it coming and going. So I think they should continue to look for sites and see.
What size was that again, Kyle?
10 by 16.
10 by 16?
That's the display space on the sign?
Your Honor, Councilman, the only information I have is, and again, even in the email, it says we're guessing, but maybe 10 feet tall by 16 feet wide. So I don't know if that's the dimensions of the display space, if it's the dimensions of the sign.
I think the height isn't, I don't think it's the whole 16 feet.
So it's about the same size of sign that's there on Federal when you're going north, that's up on the left-hand side above the old Texaco store, gas station, and the round building which is behind it.
That one's probably 3 times that big, but yes. So,
That one.
I guess I would recommend that we just, or suggest that we let them put a proposal together. But I think if we're going to put it on city property, I think it should be, like a 2-pole sign and get it up above vandalism range so that, people can't be messing with it, and you're not going to have somebody hit it with a car or something like that. Put poles and ballards around it and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Which they'd probably want if they wanted it on South Federal too, but that'd be my only suggestion.
Do you
Get
know-
it up where it can't be messed with.
Is it dual-sided, or do they know that yet?
I don't think we know.
I think it's just really too early to commit. I think that's part of the problem. We're not
I
even
think
sure of the
I think we
size.
should have more discussions and find more information and find different types.
I don't think anybody's completely saying absolutely not, but I do think we want more information before we'd say we're going to commit, I think. Is that kind of what I'm?
But I think it's needed. The information is needed.
Well, I think that'd be a great, place for people to be able to get information on things going on and all that kind of stuff. So,
I looked at a sign that was 8 by 6, 10, 12 pixel, and they only wanted $45,000 for it.
That's all?
they get pricey.
Yeah.
So there are the problems with Federal and Maine being their state highways. That's what I figure.
I will guarantee you a place for that, Kyle, on my property, no charge.
Your Honor, it sounds like there's a lot of options, and this is the discussion I was hoping to hear. If it was an absolute no, then we wouldn't put time towards it, but it seems that there's at least some interest to learn more. I'll work with the chamber and some of the other representatives that are pushing this forward, and then we'll respond back.
Sounds good. Is that,
Yeah, that sounds good.
okay? All right, well then I will be brief with my comments since it's 8 o'clock, 8:10, and we rarely get done this early, so. Mr. Butterfield already mentioned, had the opportunity to go to the grand opening of the Derby Club. I'm not going to be able to attend the grand opening of the Ichiban restaurant, which has been a source of just disappointment for me, but that's okay.
Really?
Yeah, I have a jury trial.
Oh, no, no, no. I mean, you haven't eaten there?
Oh, I've eaten there.
Oh,
I
man.
ate there tonight. Before I came here.
Well, I'll cover for you and hope to consume heavily.
You're gonna have to eat for two. You're gonna have to eat for me and for you, and I'm gonna tell you, I eat a lot. I didn't get to look this way without work.
That's right.
So, thank you, Mr. Bailey. If you can do that for me, I'd appreciate it. I had the opportunity to address the Kiwanis Club. That was really good. I used to be a member of Kiwanis and still really enjoy. It was a lot of the same people, and I was glad to see that and that they have some new members. Very good organization. I really appreciate all that they do in the community and had a good discussion with them. And this was right after the community meeting that we had last week, and nobody threw rocks at me, so that was good. I had the opportunity to attend the Fremont County Association of Governments, FCAG. A lot of different things going on in our county. I guess I would just note that I really appreciate how much we have on this council, other places in our community, that we have such a spirit of service that people are willing to step up and serve. Our council members, mayors of other communities, other representatives, and I think they take it seriously, and I just really appreciated some of the feedback and discussion we had with that group. Enjoyed attending the parade for the 4th of July in Lander. Yeah, I know. I knew you were going to say something, so that's why I said it. You know, if somebody wants to put together a parade for Riverton, I'll go. I mean, I think it'd be a lot of fun to do one in Riverton. I have no qualms about that. I think it'd be great. It was a lot of fun. Lander is a nice town to visit. I'm glad that I live here. They had a parade in the rain, which was, a lot of fun.
Could have been worse.
It could have been worse, actually. That's a good way to put it.
Yeah.
Also had an opportunity to attend a supporters of Wind River Job Corps meeting. They're going to be going through some changes coming up soon. Nothing too drastic, but they're still going to be providing the services that they have. They have some students that really take their education seriously, and it's really nice to see that because they're young. One of the things we discussed that I think people don't realize, they think, oh, Wind River Job Corps, it's like a place where people go if they're in trouble or something like that. That is not what it is. It is an opportunity to get education in trades and specific areas for young people. You don't have to be somebody who's had trouble with the law. As a matter of fact, you can't go there if you're on probation. They are they take very seriously what they do, and they take very seriously that they have very young students who are, generally speaking, away from home for the first time. Some of them young enough that they could even still be living at home. And so I say that not to say that anybody has said anything poorly of them, but I do think there's a little bit of misinformation out there, and they have a great program, and I've really appreciated API that has been running that for a time now. So anyway, that's all I had. We don't have an executive session for once. Great. I'd entertain a motion to adjourn the regular council meeting.
So moved.
Second.
Councilwoman Borders, motion, second by Councilman Bailey. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
I vote aye. Any opposed, say nay. Motion passes. Meeting's adjourned at 8:14.
Only mine that does that.
What is it, Bailey?